was awesome.
What is going on? I knew you'd like that, brother. What's going on? All you movie dojo loving badasses out there. It's your boy, Phat Samurai Guy, hanging out in the dojo. And is this the first live movie dojo, maybe? Oh,
Wow.
Well, no, we did John Wick. We did a few live movie dojos with Lady Fat Blood in the past. Yeah, we did the John Wick one. But it's great having you here, baby. But we got Matt Merritt. That's right. Filmmaker, editor, icon. And what are you pointing?
This guy over here. I'm pointing to the
Thank you guys for having me again.
This guy.
There you go. There you go. Got to point to the legend. Yeah, man. We had to talk about these movies together because everybody watching right now, Matt Merritt, that's right, Keep Forward Productions son, is a game of death enthusiast. He knows a lot more than us Bruce Lee loving knuckleheads over here. But we're going down back to the 70s, son, and going into the early 80s. We're getting in our Back to the Future vehicle, son, and we're going back in time. That's right. And we're going to have fun talking about these movies. The good, the bad, and the ugly is there. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
There's some ugly. There's some ugly here. But first, before we get into it, we got the roll call. What unbelievable, awesome badasses are here. Who we got? We got Brandon in the house. What's going on? Bob Odin's son. What is going on? He's like, what's up, man? He said, what's up? Been years since I've seen these. I know, right? I know. Will in the house. What's going on? We got the Finkstonator. There. Gilbert Berger, that's right, certified badass channel member. What is going down? Oh my goodness, Mr. Tony of the motherfucking dead, son. That's right. Who Matt, if you remember, when we had Richard Norton here,
yes.
The legend, Richard Norton here on the channel, I had Tony with me, and Richard said that Mr. Tony of the Dead's name was like one of the coolest names ever, and I was like, man, I'm fucking jealous now. That's why I haven't had Tony on the channel since. I'm like, fuck this guy.
His name's too cool.
No, it's good seeing you, brother. That was a legendary moment here on the channel. Richard Norton, yeah. Who else we got here? Brian in the house. The Batman 2025. Psych Long. What is going on? Tons of legends here. But woo, baby. Now, when me and Matt sat down, we were like, there you go. Yeah, that was so cool that we had you here, man, with Richard. That was awesome. But excuse me, we were having fun discussing both films because we were like, man, should we start a new series on the channel called Guilty Pleasures? Or is it really that bad? Or we were throwing it all. We were like, you know what, fuck it, let's just keep it a movie dojo episode. Because we discussed the good, the bad, badass, and the ugly. Anyway, who knows? We may do a Guilty Pleasures series in the future. But both of these movies do qualify. Like if we did want to start the series, they do qualify. But it's perfect doing some movie dojo, son. There you go, Todd Johnson. Oh yeah, what's up, man? He goes, Bruce Lee is iconic. Oh my goodness, yes, we're gonna get into all of it here. But first, before we get into and talk about Game of Death in detail, because we got Matt the legend here with us, let's all three of us talk about our very first experience watching it first, and then we could do a little bootleg deep dive and give our thoughts about it, especially how we feel about it now. So let's see, I'm gonna go first, right? Then you, or should we want to go me? Should we go me, you, then Matt? Which way?
Sure. Whatever.
Okay, we'll do that. Me, Lady Fat, and then we'll go to Matt. All right. So, yeah, I had the old school Fox box set back in the day, and Matt had the same thing. This is some OG shit right here. It was a cool box set. I still actually might have it somewhere. I don't know. VHS box set. So, Enter the Dragon was the first Bruce Lee movie I've ever seen. And I've seen clips in here and there of the other films, but not Game of Death. The only thing I've seen of Game of Death was the poster of Bruce Lee or images of Bruce Lee in the iconic yellow tracksuit. That's all I've seen up to this point. So when I'm watching all these movies in order in that box set, I'm loving it. I'm like, this is amazing. Yes, no more fucking no edited versions, right? No commercials. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. And then I got to Game of Death, because Game of Death in that box set was the last. It was the last movie, and I was so confused, man. I was so confused when I watched it for the first time. I love the John Barry score. Shout out to John Barry, right? The old James Bond scores. Iconic theme now.
It kind of gets stuck in your head.
It gets stuck in your head.
It's kind of like an earworm.
Yeah,
they play it a lot during the movie as well.
Yeah, you'll kind of like be humming it for the next few days. Like I found, like the first time I watched it, I was like, I'm like, wait, oh my god, is that Game of Death? It's weird.
Yeah, it's an iconic theme. It had a fun little opening credit sequence. But once I was like, I'm watching the movie, I'm like, oh, okay, they're showing scenes from other Bruce Lee films. All right, this is kind of fun. And then when the movie started, and I had no idea, guys, when I watched it for the first time, I had no idea that, oh yeah, we got, shout out to Matt for sending me this. We got like 4 different people. Of course, you're going to have you and Biao now playing, doing the acrobatic crazy stuff. 4 different people were playing Bruce Lee. So I was just kind of like
nothing like Bruce Lee.
They looked nothing like him, and I was so lost for the first time. Especially when you guys, I have a little bootleg clip just to play. Now you guys remember, classic Enter the Dragon. He catches up to our main villain at the end, and Bruce Lee goes, "You have offended my family, and you have offended the Shaolin Temple." Right? Well. This happened when I'm watching Game of Death. Just remember that. You have offended my family. Remember that. And I'm watching this movie, and this is what happens in Game of Death.
So you got in here, finally.
You're not going to play it again, right?
So you got in here, finally.
The towel.
The towel.
Smooth. Yeah.
Smooth as silk. Like, flawless.
Yeah, I was so lost watching the whole movie, but by the end, when the real Bruce Lee showed up, I was like, oh, I took a breath. I was like, oh my God, thank God. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah. Thank you, Lord. I was like, oh my God. And then I ended up loving the rest of the movie because real Bruce Lee showed up. Right? I hope you guys are enjoying this.
So you got in here, finally.
But by the end, this is when I watched it the first time. By the end, I was just like, oh, thank God. There's value to this movie now because we had these cool fight scenes at the end. But I never dissected it yet until rewatching it and then getting the DVDs and then getting the Blu-rays and all that. And then I definitely started noticing that some things were off. But that was my first experience. Shock, confusion, and then by the end, oh, thank you, Jesus. Right? Now, Lady Phat's first experience seeing Game of Death for the first time. Or it was just the beginning.
Oh, it was just the beginning.
Right.
Okay. Just the beginning. Because I had never... Okay. This was before he and I were actually a thing.
Yes.
We had been acquaintances through my cousin, the Cranky Critic. The Cranky Critic and this guy had gone to high school together.
High school buds.
I'm very close with my cousin, the Cranky Critic. We grew up together. We're like siblings. Okay.
Yeah.
And we share media with each other all the time. He's introduced me to movies. I've introduced him to stuff. I got him into Star Trek. Okay. And he's like the biggest Star Trek junkie now. And I think because of my odd sense of humor, he out of the blue just decided, oh, I got to show you this. Now, I had never seen a Bruce Lee film, but of course, because of culture,
you knew who he was.
I knew who Bruce Lee was. You can't not know who Bruce Lee is. It's almost impossible to not know who Bruce Lee is.
Yeah.
Without seeing a movie. It's like, you know who Bruce Lee is.
You're talking about this guy, right?
So you got in here, finally.
So, but before he shows me anything, he explains to me what happens. He explains to me that Bruce Lee had filmed this bit of footage and he got called away to do the movie.
Yeah, Enter the Dragon.
And he died before the movie was released.
Yeah.
And then he never got to finish this movie, Game of Death, which was what it eventually became. And in order to make up for it, used the footage that he had created. The studio scrambled and they, got the footage that he had, and then they shot around it with using all these doubles. And he gave you the quick backstory, but in order to salvage what they had, they also used bits from a lot of his other movies, and they did all this cheap cinematography and cheap camera work and just cheap fake shemp, as I call it.
Fake shemp
The movie is what I've started to call this. That's what I've started to call this movie. And so he wanted to show me this one particular scene, and I don't know why you suddenly showed up.
I think I came over to hang out.
It must
I didn't
have been,
know she was here.
and I didn't know he was there.
Yeah.
And he had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
And so we're in the Cranky Critics room, and he's showing me this, and he's just started to show me the scene where the Steiner character, he shows me the So you you come here, so you got in here
finally.
Right, which I'm already like, oh, whoa, what is that towel? Like, first thing you notice is the towel.
Yeah.
And
look at that. It's beautiful. Look at that.
VFX for the time.
Yeah. And so this guy comes in mid-scene, and he's like, why are you showing her this? And I look over to him, and he sits down on the bed with us, right? He's just on the corner of the bed, and I'm watching fixated, like not knowing what's about to happen.
Turn it off.
And he's just kind of like going, why are you showing her this, Cranky Critic? Like, why are you doing this?
I was embarrassed.
Don't do this.
I was embarrassed as if I made the goddamn movie.
And then the scene of all scenes, the most egregious of all scenes happens, where the Steiner character threatens him with the stick, the walking stick that comes out with the blade at the end.
Right.
With the cardboard cutout head of Bruce Lee up against the mirror.
Check this out, guys. Yeah. Yep. Flawless
and
seamless,
and of course the body's moving a little bit. And I can't quite keep up with the still image of the cardboard head. And meanwhile, I think my jaw drops, and then I look over to him, and he's like this, his head in his hand, just like as if he made the movie.
It was. I lost it.
And of course, I didn't get to watch the rest of it, and it wasn't until years later when he finally showed me the rest, and then I think I lost it a little bit more, and we'll get into some of the more we'll get into some of the worst aspects of the film, and some of the worst things that they did in this movie. But that was like my first impression was, oh
hello. Yeah, there you go. That's her first impression. Iconic. And Matt, first impression and thoughts of when you watched Game of Death for the first time.
I had pneumonia when I went to Suncoast, and my mom got me Into the Dragon and Game of Death. I've already seen Into the Dragon, but it had the scene that was in Game of Death too. So I was like, oh, new footage.
Yeah.
So then I got to Game of Death, and I have a fever, and I'm like, what am I watching? Like, I just couldn't believe it, and I was confused. I'm like, did Bruce Lee start this? It's very like, biography, like Billy Lowe, like, was that the character's name?
Yeah.
And then I don't know, maybe it was John Barry's music, because I'm a huge Bond fan. I'm like, John Barry and Bruce Lee. And then I started to get into the fights after the egregious scenes that we're talking about.
Right.
And from there on, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it ride, because I kind of knew about the doubles and stuff. And then when Bruce Lee came on, and with the music, I thought, and the sound effects and everything, I was like, I want to find out more about this movie. So yeah, that's
obsessed.
Yeah.
Get obsessed with it. All right. So now all three of us have revisited Game of Death, and we're going to talk about what we think about it now, many years later. But before we do that, Mr. Merritt, plot synopsis for those who have not seen Game of Death, and go down and give us some of the cast that's in this.
A martial arts movie star must fake his own death to find the people who are trying to kill him. Stars Bruce Lee for 10 minutes. Dean Jagger, Gig Young, Hugh O'Brien, Robert Rawl, Dan Inosanto, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then a guy looks nothing like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which I can't find his name. Roy Chow as and Sammo Hung, and archive footage of Chuck Norris and Colleen Camp.
There we go. Quite a cast. I think two of the actors were Academy Award winners, I believe.
Yeah.
But, oh, it's Sexy Sumo. We should in the future. That might be funny to do, actually. Yeah. So let's now. Well, how do we feel about Game of Death now? We just recently watched it over the weekend, and I have a little bit more appreciation for it, only because it's so fascinating.
Yeah.
In a good way and a really bad way. It's a fascinating movie that you kind of have to recommend to filmmakers, so even they could be like, what were they thinking? What was going on? Again, it kind of reels you in to where you want to find out more, like it did with you.
Yeah.
But like Game of Death is definitely one of those movies where I totally understand the fandom for it, because this movie is a lot of people's first Bruce Lee film. And they're very nostalgic for it. There's iconic moments that happen in this movie. I totally get the fandom for it, and I totally get the hate for it. Which is with a lot of Bruceploitation. Like I'm always in the middle. I understand both sides, but I can find entertainment in there. But yeah, let's just kind of go down here and talk about, after the hilariosity here, we'll get into it. But yeah, shout out to Yuen Biao. I mean,
Yeah.
that guy is such a legend. Yuen Biao is, man. Jesus Christ, he's so good. But you're correct though, Matt. Like, it's like so many of these actors don't even look like Bruce Lee. Like, we thought when we were rewatching it, we were like, were some of the other people casted because they're more of the actors? And
yeah, I think Sammo Hung did a good job with Kim. Like the locker room scene. I feel like that's the closest that it looks like Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
So I think Sammo Hung, because he directed most of this movie.
Right.
The scenes, I can tell where he directed because he knew Bruce Lee's mannerisms. The two fights at the beginning, I felt looked nothing like him when he has the glasses. And
yeah, for sure. But like, it's just bizarre, because it's like, okay, maybe they got this guy because he's a better actor than what's his name? Ty?
Yeah, Kim.
Kim. We'll just call him Kim.
Yeah.
Kim. Maybe Kim was just casted to be the martial artist, but it's just weird because when we get to Game of Death 2, he should have just stuck with Kim the whole movie, like like you said, right? Like, these guys don't look any more like Bruce. But yeah, it's almost like you were saying, Matt. It's kind of like a kind of a biopic in a way. He's playing a martial arts star. That's why they were able to use other clips and footage from Bruce Lee's other films to kind of throw in here, and stuff like that. I still find it a little eerie and a little odd when we get to this scene.
Yeah, that made me uncomfortable. That's when I was like, am I hallucinating? Because
for those of you that are unaware of how Brandon Lee died on set with a pistol, it's very, very odd going back and watching this scene where we have our hitman here, played by Mel Novak. Shout out to Mel Novak. And he kind of sneaks on set during a gun shooting sequence, and he uses the real bullets. Everyone else is doing blanks, but he has real bullets because he kind of sneaks on there. And there's a scene where Bruce Lee does like a jump kick, the Fist of Fury footage, and he gets shot and he survives. He thinks he kills him. He survives, all because they want to be his manager.
Yeah, the syndicate, right?
The syndicate wants to manage his girlfriend, and it was his girlfriend, right? No,
yeah,
his wife, his girlfriend, and
if you say no, that's it. They'll take
so
fingers.
It's so bizarre. The script feels like, all right, we got to come up with something fast, at parts. But yeah, this is odd. So now the character of Billy Lowe is now he did not die. He had an operation, and the whole operation part of the movie, I think they could have did something there. I think they could have just showed Kim.
Yeah, make him look a little bit different, because
they were hinting that your face looks a little bit different now. You can't be the same person. They kind of hint at that, So it's just kind of like they could have just showed Kim for the rest of the movie, but they decided to have the Billy Lowe character who just had a few scars. He puts on a Party City beard, some sunglasses, and calls it a day, and makes some horribly bad decisions on how to he just jumps over the wall of the syndicate's home from the evil bald old guy, and he just walks up to him and starts
strangling him.
I'm like, what are you doing, man?
But not
I do like the fight scene after though.
Yeah.
But not before we have the worst and most tasteless scene
Yes.
in the movie.
So
where the first time you showed me this movie,
yeah,
they were showing this funeral footage, and I'm like, this looks like a really convincing funeral. I'm like, well, at least they're not showing his body.
God damn it.
Yeah, I can't even look at it. It's hard.
Yeah, God damn it.
And then lo and behold, they open up the casket. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Yeah.
I mean, of all the tasteless, exploitative things to do in a goddamn movie, they actually used not only the footage from Bruce Lee's actual funeral procession where like thousands upon thousands of people had lined up outside the streets. Just to get a glimpse of what was going on. Yeah. But then inside their actual it's like I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised Linda and the kids didn't make the cut. You know what I'm saying? Get a little.
That would have been.
I couldn't imagine them seeing this in theaters.
Seriously. They probably knew better.
I mean, this was all bad enough, right? This is all bad enough, but when it got to here, it was just like, oh God damn it.
Yeah.
So that we said we were going to talk about the ugly, and that's one of the ugly in this movie, unfortunately. But let's keep it going here. Let's keep it going. But the character is still alive. So if you want
to play the surgery in that back
right, if you want to play by the movie's rules, that funeral was a fake set up funeral. That was a fake body of Billy Lowe in the casket, which you find out later when they poke the face in the casket after they dig it up, and it's what made out of
it's wax, because you see the doctor earlier doing wax and stuff.
Right. But it's one of the lows. However, the highs, and I believe we discussed this, Matt, that you were talking about how Sammo really ramped up the fight choreography, ramped up the action scenes and the excitement from midway, right? Like kind of after all this.
After the two fight scenes at the beginning with Daniel Sato, which he's a positive. Sammo hung from the rest of the movie, and then Bruce Lee's footage.
How did you enjoy fake Kareem Abdul-Jabbar throughout the
when I first saw him, I'm like, there's no way that's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Consider
he's in the shadow.
Consider it done, man.
You think you can make your way back by the end of the movie?
Now you found out it was cool seeing Dan there.
All I read was that he refused to come back for the reshoots. That's all I read.
Did you know about that?
Yes.
Is that confirmed?
Yes.
He didn't want Kareem didn't want a part of it.
No, it was expletive.
Okay.
Which I say good for him.
And Chuck Norris was supposed to be the Hugh O'Brien character, but he turned them down.
Well, he at this point he was becoming a star at this point, right? Yeah, I get it. But yeah, now let's follow and just get back to the plot line here. So, Sammo shows up again in this nice little fun fight scene between him and the legendary
Carl Miller.
Bob Wall. Carl, the old man boss is fucking hilarious, dude.
Oh, Carl.
Pow! Carl. Oh, every time the old man, I'm gonna just call him Mr. Big. Every time he cursed, dude, I was like, this is fucking hysterical.
With the fish?
Yeah,
he's stick to your ribs.
He's feeding the fish. And he's like, it's gonna stick to your ribs. You beautiful bastard. Pow!
Nailed it.
It's fucking hilarious. Every time. Even when he's dying at the end, when he's sliding down the roof, he's just cursing nonstop.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Or he's in the car, he's like, "Ooh, bitch." And then Timmy's like, "Ooh, bitch."
Rude bitch. Pow. Anyway, but yeah, we had a nice little fight here. So we're gonna give our thoughts on Bob Wall after the locker scene. But yeah, nice little fight put together. It's cool seeing Sammo for a little bit. But at this point, Billy Lowe's girlfriend's kind of went straight up death wish. She's like grabbing her own pistol. She's trying to be a vigilante, and she's trying to go kill the syndicate members because she knows it's them. It's obvious. They were even at the fucking funnel talking shit.
And then they show up after.
It's so obvious they were there. They were responsible. But do you guys remember? Do you remember the movie Fist of Fury, aka Chinese Connection? Remember when Bruce Lee's character had to dress up as an old man to sneak in, the Japanese hideout. So they kind of do that again here, and he's in disguise. Yes, that is Billy Lowe on the left there. It's supposed to be him, and he tells her, stop what you're doing. We've done. What was it? What must be done is being done, and she already knows because she hears his voice. Oh my God, Billy Lowe is not dead. My love of my life is not dead. And I thought it was hysterical when who was the other guy, the older white dude that was like their friend.
Oh, that's Gig Young, who after the movie,
he sounds like he's drunk. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he probably was because he actually killed his wife.
Oh my God.
Movie. Yeah.
Oops.
So even more darkness to the movie. Yeah, he killed his wife and then he killed himself.
After this movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Holy shit. Dude.
Well, no. It's fun fact.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I just found out like 2 years ago. I'm like, oh man.
Yikes.
So now when I watch it, yeah, he looks like he's drunk out of his mind. He had alcohol problem. So.
Well,
that I was gonna say he literally every time he had dialogue, he sounded drunk. Like
wow.
It was not. I wasn't trying to be like making a joke. He literally sounded drunk.
Wow.
Every
well,
time
there you go. See, I told you this is why we got Matt.
It's awkward.
But his character was like telling Billy, like, look, man, I know you want to keep your everyone make sure that, that they think you're dead so you can get revenge, but you want to at least tell your girlfriend. And he's like, no, she must not know either. She'll get put in danger if I tell her. And then what happens? The girlfriend faints. She ends up in the insane asylum.
Yeah.
It's like, good job, Billy.
And then they show up at the syndicate.
Right. You're so beautiful. Wow, Carl.
That's a new inside joke right there.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna do that from now on. Any over the top villains, we're definitely gonna have to do that. That's right. Hit that like button. Yes.
How about Carl Miller's new girlfriend? She's like, where are you from? Kansas City. That line, like
when you're rich and successful, it doesn't matter. Like as soon as Bob Wall runs into her, after he beats Samo and wins the championship or whatever, they go back and
kills him, I think, right? Does he kill him in that ring fight? Yeah.
I don't.
Like he jumps on his thing, and it's like you hear like cracking.
Maybe, probably. Let's just say he did for fun. But yeah, as soon as he turns, the presser in the locker room, he turns, he sees her. The dialogue was literally like, "So who are you?" And she says her name, and then he turns around and he goes, "Hey, everyone, this is my new girlfriend." And he just walks away. That's it. Hey, when you're rich and successful, that's all it takes. You don't need any hard work or build up to it. Just say, "This is my girl now." Kansas City. That was fucking hilarious. That was hilarious. Again? Oh, I thought you were signaling something down here.
No.
But yeah, this, I agree with Matt, is legit. This fight in this locker room is legit, despite all the shenanigans and the lowbrow stuff that happened earlier. I actually felt some tension here. I actually felt a little bit of tension because Billy Lowe sneaks in the back, because after Bob Wall's character, he leaves everyone and locks himself in so he could change, take a shower. I want to look good for all those photos, almost right?
On the light when he's being carried in, I've always noticed that. Like there's a light in the ceiling light, he just like moves his head.
Oh shit! It's that martial arts skills there. Yeah. And so he turns around. Billy Lowe's character locks the door. That's what happens. He locks the door. Bob Wall's character turns around. And what's Bob Wall's character again?
Carl Miller.
Carl! So Carl turns around and he's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And then you see Billy Lowe take off the old man beard, the old man makeup, throws it down. He could see that it's Billy, and they have this fight in here. And they do. It's bad. They use a few Bruce Lee clips from other movies, but the fight itself, how it's edited, how it's put together, you definitely see the Sammo Hung touch on it, and Bob Wall's great in it. But this, I mean, you have scenes like this. Up to this point, there was no fight scenes that had cool stuff like this. So he grabs Billy Lowe's arms backwards and puts his knee in his back. And I'm assuming this is Yuen Biao here.
Yeah.
But he flip kicks out of it. Check out this awesomeness, guys. Boom! Look at that shit. That is fucking, and then just Chun-Lee's his ass. Yeah, look at that. That is fucking amazing. And then straight up Chun-Li right there. I mean, this is none of the fights up to this point had that kind of fast-paced action. And
it's like modern at the time. Like it felt like very 80s Hong Kong cinema.
Yeah, it was great. And then he finishes him off, and it was a great scene. It was my favorite fight up to that point for sure in the movie. But yeah, really good stuff. And Billy Lowe kills Bob Wall's character, Carl. But after we watched the movie, we started to deep dive into Criterion Collection special features, and we were having fun.
Yeah.
And we clicked on the Bob Wall. We clicked on the Bob Wall interview section. And we were both looking at each other the whole time. And what did you say? You were getting vibes from?
I can't prove anything, but I kind of started calling Bob Wall the Hulk Hogan of the martial arts world. Some of the things that was coming out of his mouth was just a little sus.
Yeah. Like it's a little sus.
Did you know that he knocked out Sammo Hung 4 times?
Yeah.
4 times.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was his idea to bring in Sammo as a director.
Yes.
Because Krause was such an incompetent asshole of a director, which
could be true. Might be true, actually.
Fair enough. But it was his idea, and he was the highest paid actor in that whole thing. And
might be true.
They met all of his demands without question.
Yeah.
Like without question.
But it was like as soon as they met, he said Sammo Hung disrespected him and looked down on him because he was a Wilo. And so he had during this fight here, they're
really fighting, right?
During the fight, he knocked out Sammo 3-4 times. He kicked him over the ropes, and then all of a sudden, Sammo Hung respected him, and they were best friends. So again,
and him and Bruce were besties.
Yes,
like besties,
like super besties,
like that.
And what got me with that interview, because I'm a Game of Death historian, he's like, "I'm in the original footage," and I'm like, "No, I'm not."
Damn it.
And then he said, "Yeah, I was fighting Billy Lowe," and I'm like, "That's not even the character in the original. It's Hai-Tien. That's the original character."
Did you know that Bruce set out to remake the 7 Trials of Hercules with that movie? That was his original idea. That was the original idea. The 7 Trials of Hercules.
But Matt, I have to ask you. Apparently, Bob Wall's fighting. He was
himself.
On a level. Yeah, himself in the locker room. Yeah, so
that's his legs.
So apparently, he said that Kim sucked so bad that he had to beat himself up.
I'm kicking myself. They superimposed it. I'm like, wow, the technology back then,
Like, man, it's pretty CGI. It's pretty impressive. You know what I'm saying?
God.
But yeah, he said that everyone had a level in at the end of Game of Death, right? He said he had a level, and his fight scenes were filmed.
Yep, that's what he said. But
and he's got like all kinds of footage that nobody else has. He's got photos that nobody else has apparently too.
Yeah. So we had to bring it up because it made us smile with glee and laughter, but because it sounded a little sus. But no disrespect to Bob Wall, he is a legend. Rest in power.
He did take the hits for Bruce Lee, like full contact.
Oh no, he's a badass. He's a legend. That's why he's a legend. But yeah, for fun, we had to bring those up because it did sound a little sus, but which led to our entertainment.
He'll always fight to the death.
Right. Yeah, always to the death, anytime, anywhere. We got the money, let's go. Yeah, he's gangster like that. But yeah, Matt, definitely, especially during the whole warehouse action sequence, we had some fun motorcycle stunts. This was another highlight of the film, and I'm pretty sure that's Yuen Biao.
Do you notice they didn't get the yellow tracksuit right? Like it's missing like half a stripe under the armpit.
Oh my goodness!
It doesn't connect, and he's wearing Adidas. Bruce Lee's wearing like it's Asics technically, but they're kind of like bootleg shoes. Like he designed them
wow.
themselves.
Oh wow! I didn't even notice. See, this is why you're here. But yeah, Matt, what did you think of the whole entire warehouse action sequence?
I enjoyed it. I knew it wasn't Bruce Lee, but I thought the stunt work was good. There's one connection from Game of Death 1 to 2. The toys that they crash into, those appear in Game of Death 2. Those are the only connection.
Which one?
The toys, like when he crashes into the box.
Little
train. Yeah, they're in the Game of Death 2 when he's fighting in the alley. So those are the only connections.
Oh, I think I remember now. I remember it now. Okay, the alley fight with the car stunt and all that stuff. Okay. That's funny. That's kind of funny.
But you can be out doing flips and kicking and the music, John Barry. It's really good. And then they did, like when Kim is shaking the stick, he's like, "Where's the doctor?" That's when they just cut to his face. Like,
they just said, I guess they just said, "Fuck it,"
fuck it,
because the whole movie, the Bruce clones had shadow. Everybody was in like
shadow glasses.
Everybody was Batman throughout the whole movie. You know, don't want to show them, but yeah, at the end, he was like, "Fuck it, where's the doctor?" Like, fuck it. But yeah, now it led to the iconic scene from the film. And when I first seen Bruce Lee run up the steps, the real Bruce Lee run up the steps, I was like, "Oh, thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
Thank you, God." And man, did we have a fun series of fight scenes here. Out of the three, at this point, which one's your personal favorite, Matt?
Dan Inosanto. I just love the nunchuck sounds. Dan Inosanto, I wish he was like a bigger star back then, but I felt like the rhythm was really good.
Yeah.
I like Dan Inosanto's screams, even though it's not his. It's just, I like what he's wearing. So that's probably my favorite Bruce Lee.
Oh, that's perfect timing. Thank you. That's a perfect segue.
So my theory is that when they were doing the voiceover work for Bruce Lee and Billy Lowe in this movie, is that they got some random guy off the street and they say, "Hey, you've seen Bruce Lee in his movies, right?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, sure, I know Bruce Lee is." And the noises that he makes when he does his fight sequences, right? He's like, "Oh yeah, wah!" Right? Yeah. Can you come do that?
You're hired.
Yeah. And that's what we got in Game of Death.
Yeah.
Except no. No.
And even when I forgot to mention that in my first experience watching Game of Death, I forgot to mention that the hearing the Bruce Lee yells and screams, I was like, this does not sound right. Because I was so used to how he sounded in every movie they sound a little different.
I heard it wasn't even him doing the screams.
It could be possible.
Yeah.
It could be possible, but I'm so used to it that when I heard this version, I was like, okay, this is kind of hysterical. Like, this is kind of hysterically bad. And we have a little bootleg clip for everybody watching. Okay. So
awesome.
It's just like it just doesn't work. It's hard. It's hard to watch. It doesn't sound right. Again, it sounds like
I saw the Redux too, and he got that guy who did the Game of Death voices to redo it, and it sounded so weird because now he's older. So I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, it sounds worse.
And you could tell in the Redux, which we'll talk about in a second. You could tell in the Redux that they did pick other Bruce Lee yells and screams from his other movies.
The first one,
which is a lot better.
Yeah,
then it just doesn't fit. Sorry,
it sounds like Tekken 3. Bruce Lee.
But this is our personal favorite. Oh, some of the screams, like the Dan Inosanto voice, is actually kind of fucking cool. I'll give the movie that. He almost sounds robotic.
Yeah.
But even some of the screams and yells for some of the stuntmen getting beat up is atrocious. It's
like the garden fight where they're going into the water.
Yes. Like, why? What are you doing? What are you doing? But this is our personal favorite bad Bruce Lee dubbing yell.
I think this one made me lose my mind the first time I saw it.
She lost her mind,
Yeah.
and I think it's hysterical because when you think of Bruce, you think of like energy, rage, fire, but it's over 9,000 motherfuckers. Like, it's just like power level, right? But I didn't know there was nonchalant Bruceisms here.
That's the moment too I got sad because the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I never saw the Jabbar fight because I saw the 2 fights in Bruce Lee the Legend that came in that box set. And when it went to him, I'm like, oh no, it's back to this. And then he's doing the backflips and he's having trouble with that guy. It makes no sense.
But woo! Whoop! I mean, it's fucking hysterical. One more time.
As a kid, though, I was confused because the inserts of Bruce Lee were not scenes that we saw like when snapping and stuff. I'm like,
Jesus.
Where did they get that footage? And then over time, I found out there was more footage to his original concept.
Right. Oh man, the tears are coming out. Oh my god. But yeah, let's get back to Game of Death here. So yeah, Dan and his final fight is fucking legit. It's fucking legit. And look, he cracks his neck there. It's fucking gangster, son. It's great. And what did you think of the Hapkido fight?
I like it. I like his original version better because it makes more sense.
Yes. And what was one of the things that you pointed out to me, that you liked about the fight too?
Well, it's more rewatching it and then watching the extended version in the Redux.
Yes.
Because when you realize what the original concept of it is these guys go in to these levels of fighting, and each level represents a style, and you go in and you either adapt or you die, essentially.
Right.
Like if you just stick to one style, you kind of just you're stuck there.
Yeah.
And if you don't adapt and overcome the style, it's kind of like Bruce Lee's philosophy, essentially.
Yeah.
He wanted to demonstrate his philosophy. And so what Bruce does in each level, what he was trying to show was his adaptability. And when he actually goes in with 2 other guys and they kind of get their asses kicked, and so he's observing and this and that. And what I liked about rewatching him, like Bruce, actually, was a lot of times in fighting sequences, you'll see guys looking into each other's eyes for dramatic effect. Yeah. It's for dramatic effect. But what Bruce does is you'll notice he's very clearly looking at their chest and at their body.
Yeah. Especially more so in the Hapkido fight. He's like studying his hand movement.
Yeah, he's never really looking at their face. He's looking in their midsection vicinity.
Their technique.
He's trying to see what's coming. He's trying to see the body language. He's trying to see everything.
He's a genius.
And I found that interesting because it's like, that's really very forward thinking. If you if you look at the way you're kind of technically supposed to,
except for the Kareem fight where he's like,
well, yeah. I mean, there's no other. I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Well, the Kareem fight is basically like that's his style, but bigger guy. So that's his biggest nightmare to find somebody just as good as him, but taller.
Yes, well said. And I love this. I mean, look at it. Kareem says straight up G here. I love this scene. He's just sitting there and he just kicks Bruce Lee over. He's got the I want an action figure. How have they not made one where Bruce Lee he doesn't have the footprint on his chest, that gigantic Kareem footprint? And for those of you that are really extremely confused right now, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, yes, the legendary basketball player, was Bruce Lee's student in real life. So I know a lot of people that do not know that. They'll watch this movie and they're like, why is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar here? You know what I mean? That's like watching Jet Li and all of a sudden Shaq walks in. And Jet Li starts fighting Shaq. Like, what the fuck? Right? But Shaq studied underneath Jet Li. I didn't know that. But and you can find it too. Kareem actually knocks out a dude during a basketball fight. Just boop, short,
Yes,
knocks him
Jeet
out.
Kune Do.
That's right, Jeet Kune Do, son. But yeah, this is such a great fight. But
Yeah, I love the cinematography
this
right
is
there.
so good. This is so good. Did you question anything during this fight?
Oh, like the
Watching
body. Yeah, I saw like bodies on the floor, random bodies just on the floor from the. I caught that.
Yeah.
The Adidas when he picks up the nunchucks, I'm like, oh, that's new footage. So why did they reshoot that? I remember asking.
Because back in the old days, this is all pan and scan full screen.
Yeah.
So I didn't really see the bodies from the other warriors on the ground, and you could tell, especially during the Hapkido fight, it's very cropped.
Yeah,
they zoom in because James, not James Tan, but the other guy's laying on the ground. But I always wondered why. I mean, I'm loving this fight, and I love how Bruce always kicks the legs. He tries to bring Kareem down to his size.
But Kareem is like this, like all of a sudden, like
that. Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Like some part of the fight, Kareem's just standing there like this, and Bruce Lee just nonchalantly walks up and starts going to town on him. And I always wondered, why is he just standing there doing this? Well, thankfully, many years later, you lucky motherfuckers now that live in this era right now, we had to suffer how many goddamn years? Game of Death Redux is out, and we'll go into why he's covering. You will find out finally why. But yeah, great fight. And even after all this fight with the bad woo whoop, we end up getting to more shenanigans afterwards when Billy Lowe's character ends up finding Mr. Big, and he sees him sitting there. It looks like he slit his wrist. He's faking his death, and then all of a sudden, wax! He had to yell wax because the audience was stupid. Wax! Yeah, I'm sure we're blowing everyone's minds right now who have never seen this movie. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here right now. Wax! Pow! Pow! But yeah, he ends up dying. He finds the real Mr. Big. Mr. Big falls off the roof, dies, end of the movie.
And the movie just ends.
Yeah, it just ends. There's some deleted endings.
Yeah, the Hong Kong had another one where he goes on the boat. Or no, the Japanese cut. He goes on the boat. They show a boat and
he's back with his girl.
Yeah,
and I'm glad those were cut out because it didn't work. And the other one was the cops end up showing up and they actually arrest him.
Yeah,
that was another
Hong Kong
cut. With a song being sung.
Colleen Camp.
No. When he gets arrested in the ambulance. When he gets arrested, there's a song. I don't know, it's Cantonese song being sung in the deleted scene we watched. Deleted ending, and it's subtitled, and the guy calls him Three-Legged Lee. And I'm like, why are you calling him Three-Legged Lee? You guys have to look up what that means. Okay, there's actually two meanings for that. If you catch my drift, why some people call Bruce Three-Legged Lee. But that's in the song, Matt. I was like, what the hell? God. They called him Three-Legged Lee. He was a star.
I never knew that. So
he
that's
was too soon.
Was it Three-Legged Fighter?
Three-Legged Fighter. Yeah. But still, it's the same thing. But wax. But now, all you lucky bastards out there, you guys are now treated to Game of Death Redux. The extra footage has been found, remastered, put together. A lot of the whoop has been taken out, thank God. And the fight scenes are so much better, so much more fleshed out. And
your box
this is actually 2.0.
I saw that.
There was an older one that we saw way back many years ago, which was great then because we're finally seeing extra footage. So talk about this for a second, and then we'll go on to the Game of Death 2. Go ahead, Matt.
Do you remember your box set? Did you have Bruce Lee the Legend on that? It was like a documentary of his life.
It might be on there, but it's
when I
forever,
first started seeing more Game of Death footage, and I was confused.
I think I have that DVD.
Because that's what made me want to be a director, because the credits, when he's doing the outtakes, I was like, I want to do this. So I've always been like looking for footage. There's outdoor footage, and I guess original concept that Bruce Lee was going to study game film before going into the temple, which I thought that was cool. But yeah, the Redux, I think it was good. I've seen both versions. There's a newer version that was released last year.
Right.
I have nitpicks with it.
I might have the same nitpicks, but go ahead.
So he breaks the guy's back. The edit's a little bit off. If you compare it to the 78 version and that one, it's just not as it's like behind.
Impactful.
Yeah.
Right.
And I thought the music cues sometimes was just like replaying the same song. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I didn't think it worked.
Yeah. And sometimes you'll hear music over music.
Yes.
Which was a little strange. But it's all worth it. These are these are all nitpicks, guys. But it's all worth it because you get to see the original idea. So do you remember the actual original concept? So you let everybody know what it is.
Yeah, he's a retired fighter. His sister gets kidnapped, and he has to go to this temple in Korea, and he has to go through all the floors. And he's working for the mob. He didn't know what was going to be on the top floor. Right. Honestly, when he was shooting it. And I feel like when he came back from Enter the Dragon, I think he's got to reshoot this whole thing.
Well, it's probably Bob Wall. Bob Wall was probably at the top. So
yeah. But yeah, I think I love his original concept. I love his choreography, especially with the grappling guy where he kicks the guy and he flips the guy at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, you know, he's kind of forced to go there.
Yeah,
because I think it was this syndicate wanted to take out their rivals. I think that's what it was, right? I might be wrong.
I know he gets trapped in Korea and
something like that. Yeah.
His sister and nephew get kidnapped.
Right. But still, it's already a million times better of a plot than what we got in Game of Death. And
the reason they didn't use that plot is because there were so many Bruceploitation films that used that idea of the levels. So they scrapped it, and they're like, let's just make our own movie.
I love how it's in the original concept. It's the awesome pagoda levels, but in Game of Death, it's just on top of the restaurant. Everything's on top of the restaurant. That's it. Oh, we forgot to talk about the end credits and the songs actually sung by
Colleen Camp.
Yeah, that it still makes me sad.
Yeah, me too.
You know, even though it's the same movie that had the bad things that we mentioned earlier. That scene with showing his footage from other films and her song it still makes me sad to this day. But that was the point because everybody misses Bruce. But yeah, you guys need to definitely check out the Redux. Now I have the one that's in the Criterion. Now there's another version coming out in the Arrow box set, or what's going on there, Matt?
Arrow, they have like a documentary and they found new footage.
This is insane.
Yeah, and I can't believe it. I can't believe it because there was a scene with the guys fighting Dan Sato with a log, and they recently found that. And I was like,
could they put it in? You think?
I think so. I think they're gonna it's a video essay talking about Game of Death. I don't know if they're gonna do a Redux. That guy did a Redux Part 2 where you used the guy who did the 78 yells, and I thought it wasn't as good as the Criterion personally.
Okay, interesting, but still, it'd be cool to see. New footage, whether it's photos or video. But yeah, like Lady Phat was saying, the whole concept is his philosophy of Jeet Kune Do and being flexible and learning to adapt with each fighter. And as you guys could see here, you finally see the other characters that are with him.
James Tien.
Old James Tien. You know what, Matt? We need to do a video on James Tien at some point.
Every time I see James Tien in a movie, I'm like, oh, that's James Tien. Like I always have to say it.
But yeah, you get to see the extra footage, and it's so worth watching. And these are just GIFs right here. When you watch it remastered, it's just so worth it. Yeah, especially the Hapkido fight. So much better. Oh my god, it's 10 times better, more fleshed out. In the Dan Inosanto fight, way better, more fleshed out. I love the scene where Bruce is doing that Bruce Lee bounce, but still chucking.
And he's hitting him.
Good.
He's just like,
Oh, it's so good. And you get more footage, of course, with the Kareem fight. And I love this scene with. I know this was used in Game of Death also, but the scene where
James Tien is fighting him. Yeah, and like he's stomping on the floor, and Bruce Lee's down in the dust. I love that.
But the one where it's actually a little creepy when you see first person view perspective of Kareem looking and stalking James Tien's character, and
he
James
gets the
is,
back.
and James is like
him.
James is slowly hiding behind the staircase, screaming for Bruce Lee's character. He's screaming for help. And then it cuts to Bruce fighting Hapkido guy down below, and he hears him above screaming in terror, "Help me." I was like, dude, this is phenomenal. This is
good directing.
Phenomenal. But I mean, fuck that version. I mean, why bother having that when you got this?
So you got in here finally.
Oh man.
I love it. I love it. We have fun here. But yeah, the Kareem fight is so much better, and I love the other first person view after he kicks Bruce Lee's chest when he's sitting down.
Yeah, it's going up and down.
Yeah, and you see this. You see the camera going up and down, seeing him on the ground. You guys, if you guys have not seen Game of Death Redux, please hunt it down.
Watch.
But now the mystery has finally been solved. Why, out of nowhere, in the original version, the theatrical version, why out of nowhere Kareem's doing this and just standing there? He's very sensitive to light.
Yes.
You finally find out in this version. So Bruce's character accidentally exploits that. Yeah. And it's so awesome, man.
They couldn't have kept that.
You think they could have kept that?
Well, you know what's funny? It's at night in the 78 version. Like
that's right. That's right.
Gotcha.
That's why they couldn't do it.
This is all over the place.
That's right. Because this is in the theatrical. It's supposed to be nighttime, guys.
Okay.
But yeah, this is so good.
We couldn't have like tweaked that in the script or anything.
No. But if Bob if Bob Wall's correct, Klaus is a dick. So,
and an incompetent director.
And hated Bruce, apparently.
He started a rumor that Bruce Lee wanted to kick Bob Wall's ass.
Kill him.
And Bob Wall got with Bruce Lee and got on the phone with like all these people. And then they all went to Bob's vacation. We're like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck, bro?
He slapped, no. And also Bob Wall slapped Robert's head. Mm-hmm. He slapped him upside the head. Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, Robert Klaus, Stop it. You're the one starting all these rumors that Bruce Lee wants to kill me. You need to stop it. And then right next to Bob Wall was Bruce Lee. Yeah, saying, yeah, motherfucker.
I gotta give Bob Wall
credit.
I want to give him credit. In Way of the Dragon, when Chuck Norris comes out of the airplane, Bob Wall's inside the airplane holding people back.
Yeah.
So they can get that shot.
The Dragon. Oh, no,
Way of the Dragon.
Bob Wall's legend. We're having fun. We're having fun with these stories. He's legend. But now, don't forget, this is coming out soon.
Already pre-ordered.
I am not sponsored. Matt has already pre-ordered it, and I am extremely jealous. This comes with the extended version of Big Boss. For the first time, we see more footage of the Big Boss, guys. Like, this is insane. And like Matt pointed out, you get to see the log fight that was cut from Game.
That's when I bought it. I saw that. I'm like, take my money.
And it's all in 4K, right?
Yeah.
So you could see so you finally got here in 4K, baby. And the Redux is on there too, right?
I don't think so. I think the Redux is only in Criterion.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm happy I have the Criterion right now. But now, let's go ahead. Oh, OGP, what's going on, brother? What's up, man? Now, let's segue to a movie. The sequel. Game of Death 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Okay.
Are we doing first impressions, or we're just gonna jump right in?
I need to just jump in.
Okay, we're jumping right in.
Okay, so
go.
So I had one of my infamous like 4 to 5 day long migraines, and it was one of those like low res migraines.
Yeah.
Where I could still function, but you know how it is when you're like in pain for like several days at a time, and it just starts to just wear you down.
Right. Yeah.
Well, what do we do when we're in pain in this house? We watch shitty movies on our days off. So I had just come off 4 days working with this migraine. It was like Saturday. I don't remember if it was a Friday night when I got home or if it was Saturday. And you're like, you know what? I need to show you Game of Death 2 because I've never shown it to you. And I'm like, you know what? I've been in pain for like 4.5 days. Fuck it. Let's do this shit. And so you pop it in, and I didn't know what to expect.
Yes.
I didn't know what to expect. And we're doing the thing where it's clip show the movie.
Right.
Okay. Where we got the doubles, but we've also got the stock footage
Right.
of the other Bruce Lee movies.
Mm-hmm.
But dear God in heaven, was I not prepared for what was coming next? Because not only do we have the evil master in disguise, okay,
Yes.
he dies unexpectedly. We got the Billy Lowe character, who's Billy Lowe in name only, but he's got a brutta. He's got a brutta.
Bobby.
Okay.
Bobby.
And we got these wonderful sequences of Bobby. I'm leaving you this manual. You can study it and know everything that I know, so that when I die eventually in this movie, you can fight just like me, and it'll be a seamless transition.
Yes.
Promise. I promise you, you'll fight just like me, and no one will know that. No one will be any. No.
Yeah.
Everybody will think you're just me. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. Really, it's fine.
And
So
keep your mind off the titties.
right,
You're a rebel.
because you're into porn.
You're a rebel.
You're into
Yeah.
hand porn.
Yeah, stop thinking about the titties.
Right.
And yeah,
So
Too much titties.
What I was not prepared for was the scene where the master has died,
yes.
and Billy goes to the funeral. Do you have any of this?
No, I have
Okay.
no clips.
So
I have one.
So he
but-
goes to the funeral. A helicopter comes out of nowhere with this crane thing attached to it. Comes down, clamps itself onto the casket of the master. Okay.
Yes.
Lifts it up. Billy goes running after it,
Yes.
grabs onto it, flies up in it. And this is a good 30 minutes into the movie. So we've been
Yeah.
following the Billy Lowe character,
Right.
thinking, oh, it's another Bruce Lee movie, right? Like a
Yeah.
bunch of assholes that we are, right? Flies up into the air, and then dummy drops.
No, he gets shot. The guy in the helicopter
he
shoots
shoots him,
a dart.
and then he falls to his death.
Yes.
And then by God, executed to another fucking sequence of Bruce Lee's actual fucking funeral.
Yeah.
Corpse and all.
Bruce Lee's ghost is
Yeah.
pissed. He knocked
Another
over-
one.
Saw that, right?
And if I swear to God, migraine and all, I got up and I stormed out.
I wish I had recorded this, guys. I should have. Something told me, because I knew she was gonna lose it. Some told me just hide the cell phone like this and get her reaction. It was glorious.
Because the scene itself with him running after the scene with the funeral was a pre real funeral. The master funeral was enough with the helicopter coming in and toy clawing
the clamps.
it up into the air was enough. Him running after it, grabbing onto it in the air was fucking wacky enough.
Yeah.
Him falling to his death after getting blow darted or whatever the fuck
Yes.
was enough.
Yes.
We had another fucking funeral sequence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't make the movie. Don't look at me. Yes.
And then Bobby takes over.
Right.
So now
Yeah.
we don't have to have the clip show anymore. But this movie does not get nearly enough credit for the batshit insanity that it treated us to.
Does Game of Death 2 out Game of Death?
Yeah, I actually think it's a better movie personally because the
Yeah,
fight scenes.
Oh no, the fight scenes are better.
Wait.
It is. What?
Who's the choreographer?
Oh well, I was going to segue to Matt.
Okay,
Matt,
okay.
for everybody
Yuan
watching-
Pang and Sammo Hung and I think Corey Young.
We got heavyweights here, guys.
Yeah,
We have heavyweights involved with this. And plot synopsis really quick for those who have not seen Game of Death 2 Electric Boogaloo.
After Billy Lowe's kill while seeking the murderers of his friend, his brother Bobby goes out and brings perpetrators to justice.
That's it. That's all you need to know.
That's enough. That's enough.
All right. So
Oh.
let's go ahead. Now that was perfect. That was
Yeah.
So now let's talk about Game of Death 2.
So this
I
was my.
would-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I remember many years ago, 5 billion years ago, watching it, thinking it was really weird, but I don't remember hating it. I kind of remember that I liked it.
Yeah.
That was 5 billion years ago. What do I think about it now? it's kind of fucking legit, dude. And we're gonna talk about despite the bad stuff. And by the way, Matt has some secret information that's gonna blow your mind.
Oh no!
When we are done,
Oh no!
your mind's gonna be blown.
Oh no!
I'm saving it.
Okay.
I've been saving it. I couldn't say anything this whole time.
I'm scared.
Okay. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into Game of Death 2 here. The fight scene that was cut from the theatrical version of Game of Death, where Billy Lowe fights
the guy in the garden,
Casanova Wong,
Yeah.
another legend right there. The human tornado? No, is that Dolomite? What do they call? Do they call him human tornado too?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, because his kicks are insane. This fight right here, guys, was supposed to be in the original Game of Death, but they cut it because they're idiots. Again, Bob Wall may be legit right on some things.
It's in the Hong Kong cut, though. It is on the Hong Kong cut of Game of Death.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Really interesting. Okay. Well, it's used in here. They have it in here. And Billy Lowe's character gets challenged. And this fight's great.
Yes.
This is a great fight. And I think Kim gets a bad rap because of his involvement as a Bruce Lee clone, because of his involvement in Game of Death. I think he gets a bad rap. But if you compare, he was good for what he was asked to do in Game of Death. But he really shines in this one. In Game of Death 2, you see him do a lot better in terms of martial arts fighting. He does a little bit of acrobatics, a little bit of stunts, but Yuen Biao handles the heavy workload again because Yuen Biao is amazing. But dude, he's really good in this.
Yes.
In terms of physical fight scenes, he's like way better, I think.
I was
in this
confused
movie.
when I first saw this movie because this was my second Bruce Lee movie after Enter the Dragon, and I was confused because there was deleted scenes from Enter the Dragon. And I'm like, is this a sequel to Enter the Dragon or Game of Death? And then halfway, Bruce Lee gets killed, and I was so confused. I was like, wait, Bobby, is this Bruce Lee? And then I was like, and then I realized it wasn't, but I'm like, this guy's good, so I just accepted it for what it was.
But yeah, Kim, I believe it's still Kim, right? And he's a lot better in this.
Yeah.
I feel like he's kind of wasted potential.
I think so too.
In this one, because I could see him doing other movies, doing not Bruceploitation films, but he could have been a martial arts star. But yeah, he was very good. But in this one, I think for the first time, for this version that we're talking about, for the first time, the Enter the Dragon scene that was cut, where Bruce Lee's with his master, that was obviously redubbed for this movie. But when that was shown in this movie, was that the first time people even seen that footage?
And then the scene where he comes into his house and he reads the book, that's from Enter the Dragon, because his character in Enter the Dragon was an Arthur. That it was cut from the film. So
more extra footage.
Yeah.
And they actually showed a lot of old school footage of Bruce Lee when he used to as
a kid, and they say it too. Bruce Lee as 11 years old,
which is so stupid. It's so bad.
All the fist of fear, touch of death.
Yes. Oh my God. Which me, you, and Matt one day, we will be talking about that movie. That's really going to blow your mind.
That's an experience.
Yes, that we will never forget. We'll talk about that in the future, guys. But yeah, I mean, even though using footage from other movies in a similar way, like Game of Death did, for some reason, I feel like they tried. In this version, they tried more. I feel it wasn't. It's not great, but it wasn't as cringe-worthy as you finally got here. It wasn't that cardboard cutout head on a body.
It fooled me because this was like my second Bruce Lee, so a lot of the footage I thought was for this movie.
But you got to give the movie credit; they kind of tried. They tried their best in using the footage that they had to try to make it seamless. But Jeong-Lee's character, y'all know who that badass is. Love that guy. Anytime he's in a movie, you got to pay attention. Because he's one of the greatest martial art movie kickers of all time. But he, of course, doing exceptional boot work in this film. He's friends with Billy Lowe's character, and he died out of nowhere. He's like supposed to be the best of the best, and he died. And then we have the hilarious scene where his casket gets clamped and taken somewhere with the dummy of Billy Lowe hanging from it, and he gets shot in the neck and he dies. And then now Bobby Lee gets the manual, Bruce Lee's brother, his rebellious, titty-loving brother, has the book, studies Jeet Kune Do like that. And then now the rest of the movie is Bobby Lowe, played by Kim, so you could say they're twins, even though the movie doesn't even acknowledge they're twins. But now he goes and investigates, tries to find out why his brother died, who killed his brother. That's basically the rest of the film. But when the lion assassin came up, unfortunately I don't have any photos. I didn't get a chance.
I think it's supposed to be a real lion too in the movie. Yeah.
No.
I thought it was an assassin. Yeah, because it's roaring.
I was willing to forgive the movie had it not been a real lion, but I kind of wished it had been trying to be a real lion. So now I don't know how to feel.
Oh, I thought it was just some guy.
Me too, but then I've heard
in a lion suit, kind of posing like a lion, so he can get in there and then try to kill.
That's what I thought originally, but I heard it's.
I know right now. Right now, I know everyone's probably like, "Oh, come on, Samurai Guy, you ain't got no clips of the lion assassin." I'm sorry, guys, I ran out of time. Hold on. Kim did also show up in playing Bruce Lee again in No Retreat, No Surrender. Yep. So, yeah, and he did, and still looks nothing like Bruce Lee. But yeah, we have some fun action sequences during this investigation of trying to find out who killed his brother. We have Kim fighting this one-armed boxer here, which is a nice little fun fight, and which you find out later he's not one-armed. Wow. He was deceiving. But the reason to watch this movie is not just because it's bonkers, not just because it's fun, is because the fights are legit, guys. We're talking Yuen Wu-Ping here.
Yeah.
Corey Yuen. The fights are and who's the director? One of the directors.
Let me check.
The director who did No Retreat, No Surrender is one of the directors.
See-Yuen and See-Yuen.
Yes. Yeah, him. Yeah, that's another legit legend here. So I would highly recommend this just for the fights alone. They're definitely old school, but good kick-ass old school.
And the tiger guy who drinks deer blood.
Yeah, dude, I didn't expect him to die. Because that actor's a real legit martial artist. I loved him in Snake and Eagle's Shadow. But yeah, I did not expect him to die in this one. I was like, oh, wow, he didn't even get I thought he was going to fight Billy at some point. But yeah, the movie gets bonkers. Instead of now the pagoda or the game of death, you want to explain what happens here?
He fights down. He goes down, finds the lab.
Yeah, the monk. What did you say about the monk that build it downwards? What'd you say? Here's a temple. Yeah, so when we get down here, it's
Tarzan,
a very futuristic looking temple below below the earth here, and I think she was just like, wow, that Shaolin monk was way ahead of his time, building futuristic levels here.
The ground, you can't touch the ground.
Yeah, you can't touch the ground at certain areas because you'll burn because it's all traps and stuff. But when Billy gets down here, we have legit, really good fights down here. And it definitely feels like a video game way before video games started doing this. But you have every level has a different boss, and you have the final boss before she's got beat up the minions. And this kick right here is absolutely fucking phenomenal. Again, despite all the weird, bizarre, batshit insane stuff that happens in this movie, I got to show the clip of the jump kick, guys. Now, was this Kim doing this, or was this Yuen Biao?
Yuen Biao.
Okay. Yeah. But this is legit. Check this out, guys. Woo! That was a real fucking hit, though. That was a real kick.
That's why I'm like, this is not Bruce Lee, but this is good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, one more time, baby. Dude, this is why we're fucking here. This is why we pay the money.
That's why I said this should be a movie Dojo, just because the fights are just amazing.
Yeah. Well, very well said. Very well said. One more time. I got you.
That side, I was right.
I got you. But yeah, a very James Bond evil villain lair.
Yeah.
Underground. I mean, look at all this. Look at these. We have actual sets. We have creativity that went into this, but he can't touch the ground because of the booby trap floor. I mean, look at this, guys. Look, he ends up when he finally gets over there. He fights Lee Ho-san, who's another martial arts legend. And there's some definite comedic moments throughout this movie too that I wasn't expecting. I felt a little Jackie Chan-esque.
Yeah.
There was some funny comedic moments throughout some of the fights, but you have the little mini boss fight here, and look at the set, guys. Look at what's in the back. So the whole time we have a casket just sitting there. Look at that holy mantle here, and Lee Ho-san is just standing there the whole time guarding the casket. So he finally it's like straight up video game. So he finally beats Lee Ho-san or knocks him out at the time. And then guess who jumps out of the fucking casket, son? No, he jumps up behind.
No, it spins.
Yeah, the casket. He opens it. He opens the casket. Billy opens it. Bobby opens it. Nothing's in there, right?
Yeah.
And then it turns around. It turns around, and then this is my favorite shot in the whole movie. Look at this. Look at this shot. This is so fucking glorious.
We're selling drugs.
That's why that shot is not just glorious because it's glorious. That shot is glorious because Matt hit it right. Because I think that was my reaction too. So you find out that Jeong-Lee's character is he was like, look, I wanted to fake my own death. Your brother got in the way. I did not want to kill your brother, but he got in the way. So I had to get rid of him. And I wanted to, fake my own death so I could be a drug dealer. And I mean, look at this.
Money.
I mean, all drug dealers have a empire here, underground. I mean, look at how glorious this is.
With the eagle on top.
This looks like terrorist group or syndicate that's planning to take over the world.
This is the movie John Barry should have scored for.
I know, right?
This is the one, man.
And they should have the James Bond opening for this one.
Right? Yes, well said. But yeah, this is fucking amazing, and I might make this my Facebook cover in the future. We'll see about that. But then we have the badass throwdown finale fight, best fight in the movie. Jeong-Lee throws down.
It's one of my
Bobby.
top fights too.
It's fucking legit. It is fucking legit. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. That's the surprise.
Oh no!
Don't look at that. All right. Don't look at that. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, in finale fight is legit, long, audience rewarding, money. You will get your money's worth with this in finale fight.
I think it's like 10 minutes.
I don't think I've seen a bad Jeong-Lee fight.
No.
Even if it's short, I've never seen a bad fight with that guy because he's a legend. But here's where the movie's pièce de résistance is towards the end of the fight. Bobby fucking knocks Jeong-Lee's character up in the air, and Jeong-Lee falls perfectly into the casket. End credits and scene. That's how you do it. That's a crowd-pleasing ending right there. Straight out of Master of Flying Guillotine. He knocks him through up in the air, ends up in the casket. But yeah, despite its bizarre nature, I'm just selling meth. That's it. I'm just selling spiked Kool-Aid. That's all it is. Despite its bizarre moments, legit. This movie is legit. One more time, just for fun, because we love it. We love it, baby. But yeah, Game of Death 2, I agree with Matt. As an overall movie, is better than the first Game of Death. But now, and it's legit and it's fun. You guys should check it out.
Yes.
Now it's time for, I had to keep quiet this whole time.
I know.
Now it's time for Matt to surprise Lady Phat Bud with some news he knew about. He sent it to me at the last minute and I couldn't tell it to you because I wanted you to be surprised. Okay. Matt, hit her with it.
So in the funeral, the guy with the jeans that looks like James Tien, kind of.
Yeah, and he disappeared.
Right.
And we're like, why does this guy keep showing up and then he just disappears in the movie?
So in the 1979 version, there's a Korean version of this movie, and it's completely different. There's no Bruceploitation. That guy is actually the guy that jumps onto get the casket, and he falls.
Check this out. Matt sent me a few snapshots of this. Check this out, guys. So the jean suit guy, He's walking around with Bobby Lee's character in Game of Death 2.
He picks him up at the airport.
Then he disappears. Well, in the Korean version of this movie, he's the one who you see him in the crowd running. He runs, grabs onto the clamps. He's the one up in the air, and he's the one that falls to his death. He does not get, he just falls. He just loses his grip.
Yeah.
There's no dart to the neck, right? And there's even a quick little brief funeral for his character in the Korean version of this movie, aka Tower of Death. Is your mind blown?
So what was the plot of Tower of Death?
It's there's no subtitles, but I've watched it and it makes more sense than the 78 version or the 1980 version.
It's just
it starts traditional with the funeral. Yeah, it starts with the funeral. He goes, and then the casket gets taken, and then his friend dies. So then he's trying to find out who killed his master because there's flashbacks. And Bobby and Billy are the same character.
There's yeah. That's why, remember the second half of Game of Death 2? I was like, okay, Bobby studied Jeet Kune Do from Billy. Yeah. That I'll forgive him why he's fighting like Bruce Lee. But why does he have his mannerism still? Why is he wearing his sunglasses? Remember I was asking this question? So in the Korean version, there's no Bruce Lee funeral footage. Not there. No Bruce Lee clips from other movies inserted. Okay. Not there.
Okay.
No the Bruce Lee as a child and all that. Okay. None of that's there. He is one character that shows up. He shows up at the Shaolin monk thing, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, it goes to the
streamlined.
And so for the rest, so Jeong-Lee's still a drug dealer. He still faked his death. Yeah. But the character,
it's more linear,
played by Kim, is the same guy from the beginning who's investigating his friend's death.
Okay, so am I getting this right? This was originally its own movie, but then they turned it into a Bruceploitation movie by splicing in Bruce Lee footage and then making that other Billy Lowe character. Is that what? Am I getting that right?
Yeah. Because that came out in 1979 and the movie came out in 1980. I mean 1980.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we were wondering what the hell happened to because he was like a distinct looking character.
We're gonna call him Jeans.
Well, like, who's this guy in denim?
What happened to Jeans?
Where's Denim Guy? Because he was like there with the Billy.
Yeah, he picks him up at Bobby up at the airport.
And, and he was there, denim clad, and then he just disappears.
Yeah.
And we're like, what happened to Denim Man?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's actually, if you think about it, a better movie because
it makes more sense.
It makes sense why later in the movie he's still kind of acting like Bruce Lee because he's the same goddamn character. He's not a twin brother.
And I watched this with no subtitles, but I'm like, I get it. I get what's going on. He's investigating. He's looking for his master, and then his friends.
I knew it. Her mind was going to be blown. My mind is still blown.
All right.
I had to hold on to this information for like a day.
Okay.
I wanted your mind to be blown live.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But what did you hear in the Arrow release box set that there was this is going to be 2K remastered Game of Death 2K remastered,
and it's the Hong Kong version with a different soundtrack score.
Okay, and they have because only the Criterion one it was only dubbed. The picture was like up converted DVD quality.
Yeah. I heard this is a new remaster.
That's 2K remastered. Yeah. So, guys, in this version, you will get Game of Death 2,
Hong Kong version, and
the Hong Kong version, subtitled, original language, and with amazing, better picture. But where's the Korean version? Are we ever going to see that remastered?
I got it from a bootleg, like this bootleg.
What is that? Is it legit? Or is it like the footage you showed me?
It was a fan. Somebody made this Blu-ray, and it has the Korean version.
Yeah, footage you sent me.
Yeah, it doesn't look great, but I was curious, and it was a good watch because it makes sense.
It actually makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
There's a nunchuck scene too.
Yeah, you sent that to me. Yeah. I wish they kind of would have kept it as like a special feature bonus in the Arrow box set. I think that would have been a lot of fun. Tony has a question, Matt. Are these movies in the Bruce Lee Criterion set?
Yes. The dubbed version of Game of Death 2 is on
just dubbed version of Game of Death 2, but it is in there. That's how I watched it recently. But yeah, it's a fun, bonkers watch. But yeah, Game of Death 2 is legit. I don't even consider Game of Death 2 a guilty pleasure at this point.
That's what I'm saying.
You could.
I mean, yeah, it's a good,
But-
like, if you're drinking with friends and watching it.
It's just a fun ride. It's a blast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Despite still putting funeral footage in there. But yes, the mystery, if you guys have ever wondered what happened to jeans. Denim Man. Rest in power, Denim Man. You will always be in our hearts for many years to come. And again, I need to make this my Facebook cover right here.
Such a good show.
But yeah, man, this was a blast revisiting both of these movies and bringing you into the fold. Torture the ones you love. It's fun, everyone. Do it. Oh, sorry.
And yeah, I think you watched this because I was talking about Game of Thrones.
See how I smacked her upside the head? That's my interpretation of when Bob Wall smacked Robert Klaus's head up. You know what I'm saying? For Robert Klaus talking shit.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a lot of fun, man. But before we end it for today, guys, thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Before I end it, Matt, I know you are aware of this. I've been aware of this for years. I have not seen it. She doesn't know it exists. This is the perfect way to end the stream with this dramatics.
Dramatics.
Did you know that there's a film? And not just a movie. I believe this is a Shaw Brothers film. Matt, do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
You may not know about this. If it's not Shaw Brothers, I apologize. I thought it was Shaw Brothers, but I might be wrong. There's a movie out there called Bruce Lee, His Last Days.
I've seen this.
His Last Nights.
I've heard of it.
Bei Tianpei's in it.
Yes. Now, is this for those of you that are unaware? For those of you that are unaware, this stars the actress that supposedly Bruce was having an affair with, and she made a movie about their relationship. This happened.
Yeah,
this is real. This is real. And Danny Lee from The Killer is playing Bruce Lee in this. You know, before he became famous for The Killer in the 80s.
I didn't realize that. I saw it a long time ago, though.
Yeah,
it was on TV.
And I'm thinking this is still Shaw Brothers because Danny Lee also played Inframan, which was like their version of a tokusatsu type movie, like an Ultraman.
Sure.
Which is another Shaw Brothers film. So I might be wrong. But I have not seen this. I've heard things. I've heard things. So since you've seen it, Matt, I can ask you right here before we end the stream. In comparison between Game of Death Theatrical, Game of Death 2, and Bruce Lee, His Last Days, His Last Nights, which one is the worst of the three? Like
Bruce
the most
Lee's Last Days. Yeah, Bruce Lee's Last Days.
Wow.
Now I have to see it.
No, we have to see it.
It's bizarre.
Wow. Holy shit, guys.
And how he dies, too, it's bizarre.
Oh my God. Ninjas come in? Did ninjas come in?
No, but it's just, it's hilarious.
Wow.
It's bad.
So, all three of our minds got blown tonight. I hope you guys' minds got blown watching tonight with this information. Hey, like, share this video, get it out there. We really appreciate it. But yes, maybe if we can find it, we will talk about it. We're gonna have to at some point. Of course, Fist of Fear, Touch of Death. But in the spirit of Bruceploitation, do not forget. Enter the clones of Bruce Lee, baby. That's right. This is a documentary, 7 years in the making? Or 6 years, or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
A lot of legends involved with this. And of course, you guys seen him many times here on the channel. The Master Remaster Frank Jang is involved with this as well. And if you're for the Bruceploitation genre, if you're against it, this is still going to be a must-watch. It's going to be a must-watch because this is going deep diving. Some of the actors are actually interviewed. I mean, this is like insane of how this genre became a genre, all the crazy behind-the-scenes stories. Again, if you're for it, against it, or if you're in the middle like Samurai Guy, it's going to be fucking wild. You guys have to keep an eye out for this when this comes out. I'll keep you guys It's playing at festivals, so I'll
Yeah.
keep you guys in the loop when you guys are able to watch it as well. So shout out to Frank Jang, and it's the perfect episode to segue to Clones of Bruce Lee and not this shite, which I wouldn't be surprised is mentioned.
No, yeah, it's definitely gonna be.
I
mentioned.
wouldn't be surprised if this is mentioned in the Clones of Bruce Lee documentary. And don't forget, tomorrow, guys, we're keeping the mojo, the mojo potato. We're keeping the Movie Dojo episodes rolling. Tomorrow, join me and Therese Chen from Silver Harvest tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be talking about Kill Boksoon and Furies. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
We're going to be talking about these films and reviewing them tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We love you guys. You guys are great. It was cool seeing Tony, Big Tone Loke, and OGP and everybody else. Keep enjoying movies, good ones and bad ones. If they're good, bad, they're worth watching.
Yeah.
And don't forget to follow. That's right. Look in the link below. Key Forward Productions. Make sure you follow Matt. That's right. Rage Peaks at Night. Check out that series on YouTube. It's phenomenal. And follow Instagram below. And follow Instagram below. Follow his Instagram below. And I appreciate all you guys hanging out with us knuckleheads because we love talking movies. And I will leave with this.
Ooh.